right, y'all, get ready for another edition of News and Trends with your host, Dave and Len.
Talk to him, low.
How could I possibly be inconspicuous? With my flow is fucking ridiculous. That's why an accent. See, I'm from the South. With some of the most beautiful...
Welcome to News and Trends with Dave and Len. I'm one of your hosts, Mr. Dave Coker, proprietor of Dave Mark Inc., promoter, event planner, and all-around good guy. I just want to remind everyone that we are part of the MBG Podcast Network, where you can listen to our show and many other great shows. Take a moment, check that station out, MBG Podcast Network. And we're also on Internet Radio 101.5 The Fever. So if you missed us on Tuesday nights when we usually do our show, you can always go back and listen to us later on at any time, but you can also listen to us on Internet Radio at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on 101.5 The Fever with DJ Riz and his partner, Mr. Bobby Keys. That's Internet Radio 101.5 The Fever. I'm hanging out with my partner, Mr. Leonard Young. What's going on, sir?
Hey, Dave, everything is good. This is Leonard Young, CEO of DelawareBlack.com, National Black Guide, founder of Culture Check, the Black Culture Trivia Game. Damn, Dave, see, I just threw myself all off. And Black media expert, all around good guy. How goes it, Dave?
Hey, man, all right, I can't complain. See, you added another title.
I know.
You're so important. What can I say? I'm so glad you let me hang around with you, man.
Sometimes.
When you allow me.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, there you go. I fixed it. But how's everything going?
Dave, everything's going good. You know, no complaints. Well, I'm sorry. I could complain, but nobody want to hear it anyway. So you know how it goes.
Yeah, I know how it goes. What can you say? How did you handle the busy weekend, man? You and I were talking the other day. We were talking about how busy of a month it's been in Delaware. It's been a lot of things, different things going on. We still have things to come. One of the things that we'll be talking about later on in the show. So I know you were a part of the Afro Festival.
So I was helping our friend of the show, Aja, who did the Afro Foodie Festival. It was a celebration of African food, culture, entertainment, and people. And it was at Rodney Square this past weekend. And, you know, I'm really proud of Aja because, Dave, left and right, I saw a lot of events canceling because it was outside. It was supposed to rain all day. People didn't know what to expect. But it turned out to be a great event. There were, of course, a lot of conflicting events going on same day, but you know that
it was a busy day. That was a busy day. Yeah, it really was.
You know that's just Delaware. But it was a good event. I had some food that was really, really good. Don't ask me what it is. I just know it's good. And you know, all in all, you know, people had a good time, and it did not rain on us, so I'm very pleased.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad, and congratulations, Aja, for putting on that event.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, she's always doing something good, especially when it comes to her African roots. So that's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good. And of course, we got the August Quarterly kicking off as well. You know, so the events basically pretty much throughout the week, right? Well, August. I know you're involved in some of those events, right?
Yes and no. So I know they had something Sunday, they had something yesterday, and then I think Wednesday is kind of like an off day, and then they have something Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then of course the big quarterly is going to be on Sunday, and that's going to be at Tubman Garrett Park. So you know that's kind of the culmination festival of everything.
Are you going to be there that day, or?
So I'm not. I'm going to try to be. I may be in Atlanta visiting my daughter and doing some other stuff, but I'm definitely going to try to make sure there's some representation there. So we'll see.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good. That's great. That's great. Just wanted to just before we get started with the show, a couple noteworthy passings that I wanted to make mention of. And one is a personal one. There was a guy who, when I started my job working for the state at the Hudson Center. And there was a man that was our mechanic there, his name is George. George, and he was one of the first people I met when I started working there. He's from Wilmington and everything, and got to know George very well. Unfortunately, this past weekend, he passed away, and I just wanted to give a shout out to all those who knew him, knew what type of man that he was. He was a great guy and a friend to all. And I just wanted to give my condolences to his family for his passing. So I wanted to say something about that. And then also, lo and behold, we heard Dolly Parton passed away. And did you hear about that?
Yes, I did.
Okay. That was kinda shocking. I mean, didn't see that coming. So, for somebody like myself, and I'm sure the guest that we have on with us tonight, she's kinda been like a staple, as far as I know my life, and I know I'm pretty sure our guest, part of her life, always hearing Dolly Parton this, Dolly Parton that, and she's written and performed some of the greatest hits ever put out there, and a lot of her songs have been re-recorded to be hits again, so I just wanted to say, rest in peace to Miss Dolly Parton, 80 years old, who passed away, and of course the world's finding out about it today. So just wanted to give those, just say that, those two passings. I know one personal and one big. So, all right. So with that being said, we have a guest on our show today. Leonard, why don't you tell us a little bit about who we have on today?
Yes. So today on the show, we have Dr. Marlene A. Saunders with the titles of DSW, MSW, LMSW. She's a excuse me, she's a long time social worker, educator, scholar, and community advocate. A 1967 graduate of Delaware State College, notice not university, but college,
Mhm.
and now, of course, titled Delaware State University. She later earned her MSW and doctorate from the University of Pennsylvania. Dr. Saunders served at DSU from 1985 until her retirement in 2014 and has been nationally recognized as a social work pioneer for her contributions to the profession. She's also founder of Let the Truth Be Told and Black Agenda Group, the partnership organizing Black Summit 2026. Now, Black Summit 2026 is a statewide gathering designed to bring Black Delawareans, youth, faith and community leaders, advocates, elected officials, and allies together to identify challenges and develop solutions around education, healthcare, economic opportunity, housing, civil rights, and community well-being. Inspired by the historic colored conventions movement and guided by Ubuntu, I am because we are, the summit is focused on creating goals, strategies, and measurable action. It is intended to be more than a one-day event with follow-up efforts across Newcastle, Kent, and Sussex counties working towards a unified, statewide Black agenda for progress. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Dr. Marlene Saunders to the show. How are you?
I am well, my brothers. Thank you for
You're
having
welcome.
me. Yes,
Welcome,
Good,
welcome.
good.
Yes,
yes,
yes.
yes.
We are honored to have you on the show.
Well, I'm honored to be with you, and if I could, I'd like to extend condolences to Edith Pridgeon's family.
Oh,
Mm.
yes.
Yes,
Edith. I did
yes,
see that about
yes,
Edith too. I knew
yeah,
Edith as well. Yes.
yes. She's a staple in our community too.
Right, right,
Yes,
right.
yes,
She will be missed, definitely. Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so I guess Dr. Saunders, so I guess to start out, for somebody hearing about the Black Summit 2026 for the first time, can you explain what it is and why it's needed right now?
Well, I think in your introduction, you gave the historical roots and what we intend to do. But from a historical perspective, what gave rise to Black Summit 2026 were concerns raised by African Americans throughout Delaware. And they raised their concerns by asking, what are we going to do? Or saying we've got to do something. And this followed the outcome of the 2024 election.
Mhm.
And the people who voiced these concerns to me, and I voiced the same concerns to them, we formed a small group called the Black Agenda Group, which is comprised of a diverse group of African Americans, ordinary people, people who have achieved some notoriety in the state, by virtue of being educators or activists. And that group in December of 2024 said, well, we can't address everything that's adversely impacting Black folks in Delaware, but let's come up with a way to bring us together to identify what people's concerns are, and most importantly, to come up with an action plan. And so the group said, let's organize what eventually came to be known as Black Summit 2026.
Gotcha. So,
Now,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead.
So, one of the things that occurred as we began talking about Black Summit 2026 was, well, with the kind of division that is happening, in the country now between ethnic groups, for example, isn't Black Summit 2026 fanning the flames, causing, more division? And as I thought about that question, which I must expect I anticipated, I said, how can I explain why Black Summit 2026 is necessary? And I came up with an analogy that refers to how airline attendants give instructions about what to do in a case of an emergency. And the instruction that they give with respect to using the oxygen mask is to put it on yourself first.
Mhm.
The notion being that in order to save others, you have to save yourself.
Right.
And there's some things, that are happening in America that have very distinct negative impacts on African Americans. So we're moving forward under the notion that nobody's going to save us. We're going to have to come together as we have done in the past, going all the way back to 1830 when the first color convention was held, to come together, talk about what is happening to us, and then come up with a plan that has measurable outcomes.
All right, understood. So I guess with that said, one of the things you said is, or one of the things I read in the bio, so we talked about some of the key areas of education, healthcare, economic opportunity, housing, civil rights, and community well-being. Can you, I guess, tell me in a couple words, and I'll name them one by one. Can you tell me, I guess, as a statewide, well, I guess for the Black agenda, what do you think is the biggest issue affecting, and I'll just start with education.
Well, I think if you put it within the context of the Trump administration,
Mhm.
one of the big areas has been his effort to uh, erase Black history.
Okay.
And several states have legislated legislation that forbids discussion about slavery, for example. Several states have legislated laws that say the writings of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. don't have to be taught. The writings of Frederick Douglass do not have to be taught. I think we are all aware of some of his initial moves where he eliminated, statues or memorabilia commemorating the contributions of Blacks, in this, in government. And so I think we all know that history is important because the more you know, the more you can do. And Representative Sherry Dorsey Walker has said, when you see something, you know you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
So if people don't see our heroes and our sheroes, like Frederick Douglass, like Martin Luther King Jr., like Sherry Dorsey Walker, like the 17 members of the Delaware Black Legislative Caucus, you can believe that achieving those achievements aren't possible. So that's why education, is important. The other reason it's important is that some of the Big Beautiful Bill, parts of the Big Beautiful Bill impact loan limits that Black families who apply to HBCUs, can take advantage of. So, education is very, very important, and education has to start early. So I hope that answers the question.
It does. Now, of course, unfortunately, Black people always thinking, well, who all gonna be there? Can you kind of tell us some of maybe the speakers, presenters, or facilitators that will be at Black Agenda?
Our speakers include Dr. Tony Allen. He is the president of Delaware State University. He will be speaking. Dr. Elijah Mickle, who is a well-known authority on Black culture and African identity, he
Hmm.
will be speaking. Natasha Mullen, who is a well-known a clinician dealing with a wide range of mental health disorders that impact Black people as well as young people. She will be speaking on mental health and the impacts of racism on us. Dr. Akwasi Osei, who just retired from Delaware State University, will be participating, and he's going to talk about a global connection. What's happening in the motherland that impacts us, what we are doing that impacts the motherland. Wanda Russell is a realtor. She's also owned several restaurants in Sussex County. She's going to be talking about economic empowerment and how even though your money resources might be low, it is possible to save money and to buy a home. Dr. Dania Griffin, who is the senior pastor at Antioch AME Church, the title of his presentation is going to be God's Got This. And he's going to be speaking about the spiritual underpinning that accounts for our resistance to oppression and our resilience. And then Senator Marie Pinckney is going to be talking about our situation and implications for a Black agenda from a political perspective. The achievements that we have made have not occurred without Black folks being involved in the political enterprise.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So I mean,
And to answer the other part of your question, I'm sorry.
mm-hmm.
All kinds of people, old people, young people, will be at the conference. We have taken special efforts to try to get low income and poor people at Black Summit 2026.
Okay.
Because the Big Beautiful Bill impacts those two populations the most. And we
Right.
want them in the room to hear what they have to say about their current circumstances, what they believe an action plan should entail. And of course, we want them to be involved throughout the process from
Okay.
September 9 on.
Sure. Okay. That sounds great. And my last question before I let Dave kind of go ahead with his is, so I know a lot of times, we will look at the churches, we may look at the Divine Nine organizations, we may look at community organizations. What type of role do you think, not just individuals, but what type of role do you think these organizations that, have members, have membership, specifically Black membership, what type of role do you think that they play in the shaping of some of these, policies and Black agenda items that we're looking to improve on?
Well, I think beginning, with the Black church, I
Mhm.
think everybody knows the history of the Black church in terms of, using the civil rights movement, as an example. And the Black church has been a place where the problems impacting Black people and what needs to be done can be expressed. Some people may think that because of the president's anti DEI positions or his position regarding people being outspoken about the
Mhm.
inequality that African Americans are speaking or are experiencing, may prevent the Black church from speaking out. But that is, in fact, not the case. A member of his administration has said, Black churches and churches can speak truth to power. And I think, the church can be, a leader in informing Black people about what's going on, letting them know what's going on, who is involved in Black empowerment, providing space. One of the things that we're going to talk about is how the Black church or Black churches can be open more than during the period of 11 to 1 during church. The Black churches is known as the one institution that we own. So why not make it a place, where activities for change and empowerment can occur. I
Right.
might say that the Black churches have financially supported Black Summit 2026, Bethel AME Church, for example. We are going to, in concert with IM, because we are going to be taking a collection on behalf of Mother Union African Church. Reverend Whitaker will be at Black Summit 2026. And going back to an earlier question in terms of who the facilitators are, for example, one facilitator will be Reverend Tyrone Johnson, who is the executive director and founder of CTAG. So he will be a facilitator. I will be facilitating, and other members of the planning committee will be facilitating. Dr. Fran Franklin, who is director of the undergraduate social work program at Delaware State University, will be facilitating. So we have a cross section of people who will be guiding the discussions of the breakout rooms, breakout sessions that will happen in the afternoon. And we have crafted specific questions for the breakout discussions so that we come out with concrete ideas and priorities that the group identifies throughout the day.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Thank you for bringing those issues to light and making it clear. And I'll let David, I know he has some questions as well.
Okay. All right. Well, let's stay on the DEI, Dr. Marlene. I was sitting here listening to you talk, and because, like I said, Leonard and I have, guys, we've been talking about the the president's imposed DEI stuff, and even before he was reelected, it started hitting a lot of the programs at schools, especially with schools. It started out, we started hearing about it first with the schools and with the athletes and so forth. So I want to know, in your estimation, has the president's attempt to impose the DEI enforced programs stoppage, I will say, programs that he has put out there, do you think it's worked more against us as Black people or white people?
Well, yeah, I think there are more white people in the country than Black folks, but I think when you look at the disproportionate negative impacts, uh, those impacts cannot be ignored. And I'm speaking of disparities. For example, part of his big beautiful bill, revises eligibility requirements for Medicaid, which, according to data in Delaware, that health insurance is disproportionately used by African Americans. When you place that with a very serious health problem that impacts Black women, for example, Delaware has the highest triple negative breast cancer rate among Black women in Delaware. Delaware has one of the highest Black mother mortality rates, in Delaware. Black men are disproportionately represented, among individuals with prostate cancer. So the way I answer the question is these are issues that are impacting us in very clear ways. And each you can connect to our legacy of denial of healthcare insurance, for example, unequal education, deliberately not being taught our history. So for me, the focus is us. That doesn't dismiss what other groups are experiencing. But if you consider Ubuntu, which is the philosophical underpinning of Black Summit 2026, what happens to one group impacts another. So, which is why we have said that Black Summit 2026 is open to people who are not of African descent, but they need to come to Black Summit 2026 with the understanding that we expect them to join us, in our fight to reverse some of the disparities and inequalities that we experience, based on the notion that when we do that, everybody benefits. In the same that civil rights movement, for example, while it started out giving us, access to voting and other amenities of the society, it also positively impacted women, for example. It impacted access to resources for the elderly, for the disabled. So our movement for justice for us has had a broad positive impact for other groups as well.
Okay. And it's interesting that you said what you just said because I work as Health and Human Service case manager for the state of Delaware. So I deal with, you know, in the search and work field as well, especially when it comes to the benefits as far as the food benefits, Medicaid, child care, cash benefits as far as TANF and those type of programs. I deal with that every day. The reason I asked the question that I just asked is because, we talk about it constantly. When I go out, when I'm at work, and a lot of times I go out into our lobby, most of the people that are waiting in the lobby are not people who look like us. You
Yes,
know, and so
yes,
and it's interesting because I was, one of this has happened like Friday last week, and we were really super busy this particular day, and I looked out in the lobby, and it was all white people, and every chair was just about filled. And I said, wouldn't we love to get the president here to see what's in this lobby waiting to be serviced with all these benefits? And we're talking about shelter as well. And we're talking about help with their bills and all of this kind of stuff. So all of this, and not one black person was sitting there that didn't work there.
Mhm.
So it was, and
well,
go ahead, go ahead.
one of the things I want to say about that is some aspects, of a Black agenda, a plan, are being shared already, and part of the plan, I think, reflects what you just observed. And one of the things that we know is that we don't use the resources that are available.
Right.
Uh, and so what part of the plan has to be letting us know the resources that are available and how to access them. The first book that came out titled Black Empowerment was based on the observation that we were not using the resources that are available. And so we've got to, we've got to change that. We've got to change that around. And in my own experience, when I talk about a healthcare resource that's available, a transportation resource that's available, a home health care resource that's available, people will say, "I did not know that."
Yeah. I get that a lot too. I will be honest. I do. And of course, I know about all those things, and yes, they're available to us just as well as them. And of course, they get it's interesting because they seem to get the information and we don't, and that is true. They do get
Yeah,
the information.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So that's interesting. I know you have extensive background in social work, and now when it comes to your extensive background with social work and doing the work that you're doing with the Black Summit, and even the follow up afterwards, what are the main things that you're hoping to come out of your experience in the social work and everything that you've done in the past, and what you want to see come from Black Summit 2026 and going forward?
The main thing is gatherings like Black Summit 2026 are not new. As a matter of fact, if you Google Black Summits, you'll find that they are happening right now all over the country. The problem that I have seen is that they are not sustained. We
Okay.
come together, learn a lot, get our minds right in terms of who we are and the positive aspects of being of African descent, come up with a plan, and then it dies. So
Mm,
that's why the post summits are so important. So a major outcome for me for Black Summit 2026 is a sustainable plan that will evolve over time.
okay.
The other main goal is getting young people involved. They are key to the succession plan. And I've talked with several faculty at Delaware State University, and they have expressed a commitment to their students attending. And what some of them have talked about is giving them credit for attending Black Summit 2026. And we are prepared to give certificates to the students that they can show their professors, indicating uh, that they attended Black Summit 2026.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I have one last question for you, and that question would be taking a look at the landscape in government that we have now. Of course, we have the person sitting in the chair in DC at the moment. And what do you think it would take? And I know, agendas like Black Summit 2026 and other agendas like it, but what do you think it would take to get the right people in place that we need to have in place to make the changes that are necessary for us and to keep you get the legislation passed and to get things that would favor, us as African Americans and those of the indigenous people and homeless, and to try to do more things for them.
Well, I think getting the right people in place involves knowing who is running. So that means, first of all, generally that people need to be politically engaged, and you need to be an informed. The second thing after doing that is we must vote. We have not made the progress that we have made or gotten certain people into office without voting. I listened to a Kamala Harris, and she made it very clear that if we don't win the seats necessary to win in 2026, if we don't win the seats in 2026 that are necessary to win in 2028, the 2028 election will be a no-brainer. So we must vote in the 2026 elections. That is imperative. And what I gleaned from her comment is that if we don't do what is necessary to win control of the Senate and the House in 2026, then she's not going to consider running as a presidential candidate in 2028. So we cannot take lightly the importance and the significance of the 2026 elections. The other piece, those brothers and sisters are doing have passed some effective legislation. Those are the kinds of people that we need to get in office. That means people need to consider running for office. I believe that people have a belief, a misconception that, I mean, you have to be as smart as all get out and have to have bukus of money to run for local offices, and that's not the case. I was a commissioner, in my hometown of Bridgeville. I ran unopposed, but you have to have a message. So I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, you definitely did. You definitely did. Let me just ask one question because you kind of blanked out a little bit there. As far as the group that you were talking about, that those guys were doing a great job. Who were they?
The members of Delaware's Legislative Black Caucus.
Okay. All right.
Namdi Tokwakwa
Yeah.
is the
Right.
chair. Representative Franklin is the co-chair, and of course Stephanie Bolden is the founder.
Right.
They have put through over nearly 200 pieces of legislation that have had significant impact, positive impact for Black folks, but Delawareans in general. They will be at Black Summit 2026.
Okay.
And Namdi will be talking about the importance of community political engagement, and will be reinforcing Senator Pinckney's presentation.
Okay. That's great. That's great. All right. Well, everyone, you heard from Dr. Marlene, and you heard what she had to say in reference to Black Summit 2026. Why don't you tell us how people can find out more about the agenda, the actual event, if there's web page, as far as the web pages and contact information. Why don't you go ahead and give that information at this time?
Okay, grab your paper and pen. The website is https://www.blackagendagroup, all one word, .net. And then that will take you to the homepage, and you can get all information about Black Summit 2026, including the registration link. And even though registration is free, brothers and sisters, please register, because we want to order enough breakfast and lunch for everyone. You can get the program schedule, you can get the list of speakers, and you can get those individuals and organizations who have sponsored and supported Black Summit 2026 financially. I'd just like to add that Delaware's congressional caucus delegation, was invited. Senator Lisa Blunt Rochester, who initially said that she would attend, is not able to attend, but she is going to complete a video. Representative Sarah McBride cannot attend, but she is going to complete a video which will be played, during the program. So
Okay.
come and be about the change. Be involved, and know that I am, because we are Ubuntu.
Wow. Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. You have it. You heard about this great movement, this great event, and she talked about the agenda, Black Summit 2026, September the 9th. And you guys need to go to the website. Get that website one more time.
Okay, it's blackagendagroup.net.
Okay. Go to the website, and you heard a very good word that she mentioned. I didn't want to have to repeat it again, but I'm gonna say it one more time. What was the word? The 4-letter word she mentioned? Come
The
on.
four-
Free. Free.
Free. Oh yes, it's free. It's free, but register. And
Registration.
if you have any questions, certainly email me at Marlene
Yeah.
Saunders 145@gmail.com. MarleneSaunders 145@gmail.com.
Okay. Is there a phone number that you might wanna give out or anything, or no?
Uh, uh,
That you don't have tied to the event that you have tied to the event or anything, or
I don't have a telephone number,
okay.
tied
Ok
to the event, but I respond to emails
okay.
immediately.
Alright, great. Alright. Well, we wanna definitely thank you for taking the time to join us today and hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. Great information. Look, this sounds like a wonderful event, and everyone, you need to be there and support this event. And so, and we're going to have her come back with the follow up as far as this, because we know this is going to keep going. I mean, I know it's going to be something great. So, thank
Well, yeah, thank you so much. We've been here before. We have
Okay,
been in this place before, and we have
okay,
fought the fight, and we have prevailed, and we're gonna do so again.
Awesome.
okay. All right, awesome. Well, thank you again for coming on,
Thank
and
you.
really
Thank you, my
appreciate it.
brothers.
All right, have a good evening.
All right. Good
Okay, you
evening.
too. Bye now.
Okay, bye. Okay. Man, that should be action packed, man.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Only thing missing is Delaware Black.
Maybe missing, maybe not. No.
But you got to work on that. We got to work on that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, once again, we want to thank her for taking the time to be with us. I know she's very busy, and the fact that she gave us the moment a few moments to come on and talk to us, that's awesome. Thank you again. All right, we had a few things that we want to talk about before we sign off for tonight. So I'll let you start out with what you want to talk about first.
Sure, Dave. So, I've probably been beating you over the head about once or twice a month regarding a new project I've been working on. So the cat's officially out the bag. I've been posting about it today. I'm going to keep posting about it tomorrow. So for the last 8 months, I have been working on a mobile app. And the mobile app is called Culture Check. And Culture Check is in fact, I'll just call it what it is. It is the ultimate test of Black culture. So basically, what we did, we took what we thought may have been the traditional, boring, maybe played out Black trivia games, and we kind of upped it to a new level. So Culture Check, and in fact, I'm gonna read a little from my press release and talk it through just because, to be honest, sometimes, David, it's so much I know I'm gonna forget what to say. But with over 15,000 questions and counting, Culture Check lets users test their knowledge across 34 different Black culture quiz packs that are from 11 different categories, including Black history, music, sports, entertainment, politics, business, faith, music, sports, pretty much anything you can think of. So, Dave, so we launched today. I've got a lot of great feedback. And basically, it's set up in a couple different ways. So, kind of like how I set up, we have 34 different packs. So, each pack offers a 10-question quiz. There's probably maybe 2 to 400 questions in each pack, but it kind of rotates 10 questions. You can take a quiz on Black history. And then after the quiz, it'll show you your score and you can see where you rank on the leaderboard. So every pack, every challenge, every trivia game has a leaderboard score. So not only can you challenge your friends, you can learn, you can place on the leaderboard. And Dave, one thing that we have that I think is different than a lot of trivia quizzes. So at the end of the trivia quiz, no matter whether it's a 10-question quiz, 25-question quiz, or the 100-question quiz, not only does it just show you your results, right answer, wrong answer, but it also tells you why it's important to Black culture, or why does this matter to Black culture, or how does this work? So I think that's one thing that kind of sets it apart because not only are we informational, but we're also educational too. So and we try to add a little bit of fun into it. So that's basically what Culture Check is. I know everybody, I need y'all to go on Culture Check. Dave played one of the packs today. He played Black Sports Legends. And right now, Dave Coker, believe it or not, and I know many of you guys say not, is leading the leaderboard for Black Sports Legend for that pack. So I need everybody to go on there
Come get me,
today.
come get me, come get me,
Yeah,
come get
yeah.
me.
I need everybody go on today. Put them at the bottom of the leaderboard. Yeah. But
Okay.
with that said, so culture check, and I'll ask my own question. If somebody goes on culture check, what can they expect? Okay, so we have a couple features that I think are pretty cool. One, so as I mentioned, we have 34 packs. And so really a pack is just a set of questions around a singular topic. So just for example, Dave, some of our packs, we have everyday Black culture, we have Black movies and films, we have hip hop modern era, we have Black authors and books, we have women in the arts, iconic movie quotes. So I mean, those are some of the packs we have. So you can go on, it's a quick play, 10 questions, 2 minutes. Then we're going to have different challenges. And Dave, you may not have seen it, but with the challenges, there's also a chance to win some store credit for our t-shirt store. So for the store challenges, it's 4 minutes, 25 questions. There's an entry open date and an entry close date. And the top 3 people on those leaderboards will qualify for store credit at our t-shirt store. And of course, our t-shirt store is a Black t-shirt store. So, and we probably have over 1,000 different t-shirt designs so they can find it. And then one of the final things that we have is we have the Culture Check 100. And this is what we really call the ultimate test of Black culture. It's 100 questions from the 11 different categories. And it really tells, I'll just say, this is going to be your well-rounded overall cultural assessment, as we call it, where you can see how well you rank in Black culture. So this is what we call our, what they say, Dave, creme de la creme,
Right.
of,
So,
of the test.
so what he's saying is this will let you know whether you should have a Black card or not.
That is correct. So Dave, I probably say if somebody scores 20 or less, and we're not going to take the Black card, but that Black card may be held hostage, and you got to go back and study some more, train some more. And then, David, the last thing we have that I think is pretty cool is we have a question of the day. So every day there's going to be a different question of the day, for people who may not have time to take a quiz or, go in there. And the question of the day is just one question. It can come from any category. And, instantly you can see whether it's right or wrong, and you can see the explanation of it. So that's basically what Culture Check is. We do have some, what I think are some dope features coming in the future, but that kind of sums up what Culture Check is. Right now, it is available on the Apple App Store under Culture Check, and that's all one word. And then for Android users, you can actually, it's not on the Google Play Store yet, but you can play live by going to our website, cultureckapp.com, and you can play live, no download required. And what we're asking for, and I know Dave has already done, I can't wait to go on tomorrow or the next day to see your review, because I know you wrote some lovely words about Culture Check. But for
Yeah.
everyone else, it's hard being a Black business, and we're up against all type of odds. So I'd appreciate any and everybody going on and giving us a 5-star rating and writing a positive review.
Okay. Was that a question?
No, that
That wasn't a culture check right there? Okay. All right.
no,
All right.
that was I won't
Uh,
say a command. That was
okay.
a
Okay.
sentence with a period on the end. Maybe an exclamation point.
Well, okay. Well, first of all, I want to say, yes, it is. You definitely want to check it out. It is a chance to go on and actually not only just play the game, but learn a lot of that you might have thought you know, but then you find out that you didn't know, and you get to learn some information. And since we got people trying to take our education away from us and our history away from us, this is a chance for you people to learn about the history and be able to find out things that you may not have known and embrace it and get to enjoy it and it's something that we've done again. I mean that they don't want to there's a phrase that says they stole it, but we must return it.
Right.
Well, here it is. We're returning it because this is what they tried to steal from us is try to steal our culture
Right.
and erase it. And we know we talked about it on the show. We talked about, but it's just something that we definitely wanted. We want people to go on and do. So I want to first of all say kudos to Mr. Leonard Young for coming up with this and creating this app and giving us the information that's out there that some we know some of it, but we don't know all of it, and we get a chance to find out about it by going on this app and playing the different trivia games and learning all about who we are and what we do, what we've done, and we get credit for it as well. Okay, so congratulations, sir, on that app. That's an awesome thing.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So you guys definitely go on and check it out, and you're going to see it pop up. Leonard's been out there at vending at places, and we had his we it's shown up at a couple different events, people talking about it, and so you definitely want to definitely check it out. Okay. Anything you want to add, man?
No, just, encouraging everybody's support Black business and download the app, share it with other people, challenge your friends and family. Yeah, cause I already know if I go on Black Sports Legends and I dethrone Dave Coker, he gonna say I cheated.
Yeah, and that's the truth. He would have cheated if he beats me like that. But anyway, so but definitely check it out, folks. I think you'll enjoy it. I told not too long ago when he was working on the app, I mentioned on the show that me and a couple of my coworkers were sitting around playing it at lunchtime one day. We all got a kick out of it. So
Mhm.
so definitely notice I said lunchtime, not during work time, people.
Yeah.
Lunchtime.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
And they would say lunchtime spans from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, right?
Hey, you never know. You never know. You never know. So, but anyway, okay. Well, moving on to our next story. Let's come back to the reality of things. This is the world we live in now. And it's funny because you and I had this conversation the other day talking about this briefly, but I wanted to, for those people that haven't heard the story, this is just so fascinating to me that something like this could happen in today's day and time. But then it shouldn't surprise me at all. 16-year-old girl was charged after jumping a fence and tackling a 13-year-old middle school football player. 16-year-old girl was criminally charged after she ran on the field and tackled a middle school football player in an attack that was captured in a viral video, officials in Tennessee said Wednesday. The confrontation unfolded Tuesday night during a game. This was last Tuesday, by the way, a game between South Middle School and Cornersville Middle School at South's home field at Franklin County High School. South had just scored a touchdown as officials threw a penalty flag for what appeared to be extracurricular actions behind the play. That's when a girl appeared out of nowhere to rock a South player who got up only for her to immediately push him back to the ground. Coaches and other players separated her from the South student athlete. A fan ran onto the field and tackled a player, the Franklin County Sheriff's Office said in a statement. The referees immediately ended the game and cleared the field. The stadium was emptied out without further incident and no one was injured. A sign from the Franklin County High School outside Franklin County High School in Winchester, Tennessee. Well, it just showed that everything was cool. The 16-year-old suspect was released to her parents and has since been charged with assault and disorderly conduct, the sheriff's office added. She has been permanently barred from ever setting foot on any Franklin County school system properties and won't be allowed into any Cornerstone games and home home or away, for the next year, the sheriff's office added. So, I don't know how many people saw this video. I know, Leonard, you said you saw it, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So, what's interesting about this, and what the story didn't say, they chose to leave it out there, was the young lady was white,
Mhm.
and the player was a black kid that she attacked. She was upset because her brother, I think her brother played on the team that was losing. I think they were losing 35-0 at the time, and she was upset, and she decided to do something about it. I guess more than her brother's football team was doing about it, because she actually tackled somebody. So, but she gets out there, she walked first of all, she walked out on this field. I know they saw her coming, and she just hit the guy, and then he got up, and she hit him again, you know, and then turned around and walked back off the field. Now, the coach of the team who the player who got hit was on, he's having a conniption talking to the referees like, "Y'all just see this girl just walk on the field and do what she did?" And he's having a fit, and, they get ready to throw a flag on him because he's having a fit. But, I mean, what's your thoughts about all this, Leonard? What do you think? I mean, even though they charged her what they charged her with, does it seem like they're really? Because I know I saw an interview with her. Did you see
Mhm.
the interview she
No,
did?
I did not.
She did an interview with her mother, and they asked her, it was on, what was it? Fox News, I think it was. I saw the interview on. They asked her, what was she thinking when she was at what made her go out on the field? She said she was mad. Then said, "What were you thinking when you went out there?" She said, "I just wanted to do something. I was just so mad. Sometimes I black out and I just don't know what I'm gonna do. And this is what I'm like, so y'all think this is okay to put this young lady on TV
Right.
saying that she blacks out?" And she was looking crazy already, Lynn. And her mom sitting next to her and just shaking her head and just kind of rubbing her back. And I'm just like, immediately I start thinking AK-47, and you
Mhm.
know what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
this is the next one right here, right? I
Well,
mean,
Dave, I was wondering, and maybe you probably know better than I do. Did they ever interview the one who got attacked? Like, was he interviewed anywhere? So,
I just hadn't seen anything yet. And you know what? I'm going to look. I didn't purposely do a search on it, but he has not popped up. I'm going to put it
okay,
that way.
gotcha.
And maybe they told him to keep quiet because maybe they're planning something. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it was the craziest thing I ever seen happen, and just the fact that everybody seemed so calm about the way she was able to walk out on the field and do what she do, and then walk back to her seat. Yeah, they banning her from the parks and whatever, but what if she blacks out again? And this time is worse.
Right.
So. But what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's crazy. Like when I hear that, I'm thinking mental issues. I'm thinking anger issues. Because I mean, it's just so weird that she would run out onto the field and tackle a player during like, I just can't think of any sane person doing that. So, I mean, that's probably the first thing, and then, really after that, it's kinda like, okay. I mean, of course, the bans, that should be automatic. That should be no
Yeah.
question about it,
Right. Mhm.
but for her to just say, "I blacked out," and all that, I mean, I don't know. In my mind, I just think she's crazy. I think this is probably not the first time that she's, done things out of anger, and, so, long story short, I'm thinking mental health, 'cause it just doesn't sound like anything a logical like, Dave, well, I won't say black people, but, black people, they're gonna wait for you after the game. You know what I mean? Like, they, like, very unlikely is somebody gonna run out onto the field unless something egregious happens, not just, your team getting spanked by the other team, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just interesting. But what I was looking, and I hadn't seen that she was being suspended or expelled from her school.
Mhm.
So you got charges. I don't know how serious the charges are gonna be, but I mean, they say what the charges are. But yet, like I said, there's nothing that says that she was being not an article that I looked at anyway,
Mhm.
or anything that I've heard on TV yet that
Yeah.
said that she was being suspended or being, reprimanded for anything that she's done as far as her own school is concerned. Now forget about that she can't go on, the school grounds of the other school and attend any of the games or whatever the case may be. That's one thing. But what are they doing at her school, or do they already know that she has issues and maybe they've dealt with this for a while?
Mhm.
Because she
For
definitely,
sure.
I hate to say it, but she definitely looks like she has,
Yeah.
some issues. And just the way she talked in that interview, it appears that her mother knows. And just the way her mother was sitting there next to her, it was almost like the mother might have been a little scared of her.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
'Cause, Dave,
so
when I just think about it super quick, I could not pay my daughter enough money for her to run out on a football field and tackle one of the
yeah,
players. Like, they if I was a billionaire and offered to do that, she would not do that. And I
yeah.
mean, that's not even that's out of just self-respect, normalcy, you know.
What could have happened to her on that field if those guys decided to retaliate with the equipment that they have on?
Right.
She could have seriously got hurt out there.
Yeah. Or,
Yeah.
even on the flip side, her tackling an unprepared player, that coulda caused him serious injury,
Yeah, that's
someone
true.
who's not
That's true.
protecting himself.
Because he definitely didn't see her coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, so that does I just thought that was the craziest thing I've seen. If you guys get a chance, Google the story. It comes right up when you put in there about the 16-year-old girl who tackled the football player, and just take a look at the video, and you'll see exactly what me and Leonard are talking about. It was crazy, and especially somebody like Leonard who has still has kids in school, you know, or between him, his son, and then his stepdaughters are in school too. So this is and especially with your son being an athlete, this could be something that he might come across or something like that,
Dave, okay.
Not him
Okay.
personally, but I'm just saying, seeing in one of the, meets that he's involved in or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. I mean, Dave, can you imagine being at a swim meet and Quincy beating somebody badly, and they actually, like, jump in the wa yeah, I mean, it's just
Yeah,
crazy.
that's crazy. I mean, but this is the world we're in these days. Anything kinda can happen these days, so, so definitely, if you guys get a chance, take a look at that video, and then, if you wanna post a comment about it, give us your thoughts about it, and let us know. Alright? Move on to our last story, and I'm sure everybody's familiar by now. And we haven't really talked about it a lot on this case because I didn't wanna say too much because it was too soon, that type of thing, but th for those people who are familiar with the Nolan Wells case, a lot's been said, a lot of talk has been around this case, but the story is about Nolan Wells' friends threatened defamation lawsuit against Reverend Al Sharpton. So I just wanted to read what this was all about and get your thoughts on it. It said three friends of the late Nolan Wells are taking steps towards a defamation lawsuit against Reverend Al Sharpton, arguing that comments he made publicly linked to serious criminal allegations. They said attorney representing Warren Hudson, Jax Patalo, and Morgan Seymour sent Sharpton a letter on August 21st notifying him of their intent to sue. The attorneys Tyler Cox and Edward Andrew Pazek are demanding that Sharpton retract and remove what they described as defamatory remarks. The legal threat stems from a July 14th interview with TMZ in which Sharpton questioned aspects of the investigation and into Wells' disappearance. He raised questions about the teenager's cell phone and keys and asked whether authorities had questioned the three friends under oath. According to the attorneys, those comments were unmistakably directed at their clients. They contend Sharpton's remarks falsely associated the men with crimes such as murder, hindering prosecution, and tampering with physical evidence. Nolan Wells and his family, they had a GoFundMe up, to help with all the financial things that were going on. They said the dispute comes as significant questions remain about what happened to Wells, an 18-year-old college football player who disappeared after traveling to Mississippi's Horn Island on July 4th. His body was recovered from the water 2 days later. The three men had maintained that Wells stayed on the island with an unidentified woman after they departed by boat for the mainland. Wells' parents have previously disputed the account that their son voluntarily remained behind, saying it would have been out of his character for him to do so. An independent autopsy arranged by Wells' family did not establish how he died. Forensic pathologist Dr. Roger Mitchell Jr. said he could not exclude the possibility that 9 accidental factors played a role, while noting that decomposition and missing anatomical structures limited his examination. Authorities had previously indicated that they suspect drowning. The state official's autopsy has been completed, but his findings are sealed and unavailable to the family and the public. The legal dispute adds another layer to the case that has drawn national attention and prompted ongoing questions about the investigation. Wells' family also is reporting consideration with legal action themselves and trying to find out everything and anything that's happened. This case, of course, has been a big case. It's gotten national attention. Of course, Benjamin Crump and Al Sharpton and NAACP, they're all involved in this case as well. What's your thoughts on this whole thing? Do you feel that this has happened at that accidental drowning did happen, or do you think there's more to this?
I mean, I definitely think there's more to this story, and it's always so weird because, I guess we live in such a microwave mentality that I kind of want all the facts to come out quicker. I mean, I'm sure, certain people are trying to hide evidence as hard as they can, and, certain people are trying to uncover it. But I'm really curious what happened, and I'm actually surprised it's taken this long, being such a public ordeal that, the
I think
information's
you know
just.
why it's taking this long, Leonard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I know why, but at the same point, it's like, okay, like I want to know what's happening. I want to know what happened.
Yeah, it's just too much. It's just too much going on, and just the way the kids were acting and how they were almost shielded and protected from the moment they got home. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? They lured up real quick and everything. And why is it that we keep having people go away, black people go away with white people and friends to these islands and exotic places, even though this wasn't an island or anything, but well,
Well, yeah, I mean, it kind
it
of
was it was off the shore, but but why everybody come back but the black folks?
right. Would they let's add these hunting trips to that too.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. So it's interesting, how they're worried about a defamation lawsuit where, you know, Nolan Wells' mom and stepfather had to plan a funeral,
Yeah.
So it's gonna be, I'm sure it's probably gonna take a minute before we really get all the answers to this story, but and like the other ones, because we're still waiting on answers to the other people that have disappeared and passed away. supposedly with no foul play, but we haven't been able to prove otherwise yet. So, but I just wanted to take a moment to bring that up because we seem never to be able to get the answers that we need when other folks are involved. You know, and the fact that they're lawyering up and get ready to sue Al Sharpton over the things that he said. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, he only said what everybody's thinking,
Yeah.
you know,
And what everybody wants to know.
and then what everybody wants to know. So hopefully we'll get the answers of this story soon. I just wanted to bring it up, especially, with everything we've kind of been talking about tonight. So let's hope that real justice is done. And if there was foul play, that we find out, we find out the truth and that, you know, justice is really truly served. Okay. All right. That brings us to Leonard's favorite part of the show, folks. Y'all know what that is, Dave's Corner. He can't help himself, Matter of fact, we need to make a culture check question how many times Leonard enjoyed Dave's Corner over the last 5 years. But anyway, we'll give a multiple choice answer to that as well. So I know, I'm switching. Actually, I forgot to give you this one, but I'm switching the Dave's Corner question up a little bit, so that you have. I kind of changed it up from the one that you have in front of you. So here we go. If you were to write and direct the next big movie or box office hit, who would you cast as your leading man, your leading woman, and your villain? And what would the name of the movie be?
Okay.
Let's start with your leading man.
Well, I mean, I got to start with the movie first because I got to see who fits that role.
Okay.
I think, what movie would I do? I'm probably gonna take a line from Jordan Peele, and I'm gonna do like one of those horror slash psychological thriller,
Okay.
and I'm gonna call it The Peanut Gallery.
Okay. Uh, okay.
All right, and my leading gentleman, I'm gonna go with Idris Elba. Idris Elba.
Okay.
For the leading lady, I am going to go with. I'm trying to think who have I been liking lately? Hmm. Dang, leading lady. See, Dave, you catching me on the spot with this one. I'm trying not to take too much time with Dave's corner. Leading lady. Hmm. I'm trying to make it a good
Wait,
one.
you don't have a favorite actress or anything that you?
No, because I don't really be watching movies like that. And Dave, I be watching a lot of Tubi movies, so I I don't be knowing their names. I just know their faces. Hmm. Hmm. All right. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go with Kelly Williams. Right?
Oh,
Did I say the name right?
yeah. Okay, I know
Yeah,
you're talking about.
from a
Yeah,
Destiny's Child, right? In her name, Kelly.
you talking about. No, you got two names mixed up.
Okay.
Yeah, you talking about. Now you got me messed up, and now I can't think of her name because you
I
had
know.
her. You had the name. What is her name? Kelly Leonard. You got me all jammed up now, man. We got to use culture check to find out what the girl's name is.
Yeah, yeah.
Kelly. Gosh,
Oh, it's Michelle Williams. Kelly Rowland.
Kelly Rowland. Okay,
Yes.
there you
All right,
go.
all right. So
Okay,
I'm gonna go with Idris, Kelly Rowland,
okay.
and
Who's your villain?
my villain. I'm gonna go with Forrest Whitaker.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Who was really Whitaker? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Mr. Godfather, father of Harlem himself. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
the peanut gallery.
The Peanut Gallery. Let is if there's one thing for people that have been listening to this show for a long time, y'all know Leonard's gonna come off the cuff with something, man. So okay. All right. And with just curious, the you said this was a thriller,
Yeah, a psychological thriller slash
psychological
horror.
thriller?
Mhm.
Okay. Alright. Alright, so somebody getting killed. Okay, alright.
Yeah, and Dave, who knows? It may happen at a campground setting.
Yeah, yeah, okay. That makes a lot of sense. That makes
Yeah,
a
it
lot of
does.
sense. Okay.
Oh,
Alright.
okay, I'm sorry. Now we gotta call it the campground killer then. We
That
gotta
the
switch it up.
camp uh, no, the peanut gallery at the campground
Yeah.
killers. So, alright. Okay. Alright. Okay, well, I'll give mine. Okay. Well, I'm gonna give my actors first, and then I'll give you the title of the movie. Okay. So my leading man is, of course, Mr. Denzel Washington. I gotta have him as my leading man. Of course, I didn't want to be too obvious, but I think he would fit this movie perfectly.
Okay.
Okay. My leading woman would be Miss Angela Bassett because you gotta have somebody strong to hang out with him. And they got to be able to match wits with each other. So I'm gonna have because of the movie itself.
Mhm.
Okay, my villain, you know, he's in every other movie. You gotta put him in this one too, Mr. Samuel L. Jackson.
Okay.
He's gonna be my villain in this movie. Because nobody does it like Sam. I mean, he, one thing about him, man, he's different in every role.
Yeah, he does.
Denzel could be Denzel, a couple movies in a row, you know what I mean? But this guy, man, every part is different, you know. How does he do it? But, he's good at what he does.
Mhm.
So,
And
Sam
one thing about Samuel L. Jackson too is he's the type of actor who should have been typecasted, but kinda like you said, he is different in every
he's
role. So,
different in every role.
for somebody who's known to saying the mother F word
Yeah.
so many times, you would just think he would be typecasted in that type of role, but, he's so versatile. And then in fact, he's so versatile, he's the highest what was it? He's the person with the highest grossing movies, like,
Yeah,
total.
of all time, of all
Yeah,
time.
so, I mean,
And I think
that just shows how
and
versatile he is.
and I think he has a record for, the most appearances in a movie, right?
I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, I think well, you need to find that on Culture Check.
Oh. Noted.
Yeah, make sure you check on Culture Check to see if that's the case, but I know he's been in over 150 movies. I think that's what I heard, yeah. So, alright. So, with those 3 being the main actors in this movie and the main roles, this is gonna be a drama about one-upping each other, who the smartest person is in the room, that type of thing.
Mhm.
And the name of the movie is called The Chess Master. I Took Your Queen.
Alright, hey, y'all hear it live and direct on Tubi, the
Oh
chess
yeah,
master.
that's definitely sound like a Tubi
Yeah,
movie.
it well, hold on, dude, you gotta tell us what's the second movie gonna be called? 'Cause, well, you come out with "I Took Your Queen," the second one gotta be a banger.
Yeah, it would be the second movie. You mean the follow up to this one?
Yeah.
It would be Checkmate. I'm not the pawn you thought I was.
Okay, gotcha, okay, alright.
So yeah, yeah. So there you go. That would be my movie. So I think we got a couple of good movies there. We can make it work. We can make it
Yeah.
work. So yeah. So you guys give us your ideals of what your movies would be, your titles to your movies, and who your actors would be, and your villain, and let us know what you're thinking, and be interesting to read what you guys have to say. So, anything you want to add before we sign off?
Yeah, I just wanna encourage everyone, please support, check out Culture Check app in the App Store, or you can go to the website, you can get all the links, culturecheckapp.com, and make sure you play Black Sports Legends, and let's dethrone Dave Coker from his top rank.
Look, I already know one person that's probably going to try to do that. That's probably our buddy Tim. Sure,
Oh,
he'll
Tim,
jump on there
yeah.
at some point. Yeah.
Yep,
So
yep.
DJ Tim Dog, so you come and try to get me, man. You ain't gonna get me though. I ain't gonna let you.
Mhm.
If you beat me, I'm gonna come back and get you. So,
Okay.
all right, all right. So there you have it, folks. Great show tonight, and a lot of information out there about the Black Summit 2026. Definitely try to see if you can get out and support that program, event, agenda that they're going to be. It sounds like it has a lot of great speakers, and it should be an awesome event. So thank you, Dr. Marlene Saunders, for coming on and hanging out with us tonight. And we want to thank you guys always for hanging out with us always. So thank you. Have a good night, and we'll talk to you next week.
Tune in next week, ladies and gentlemen, for another edition of News and Trends with your hosts, Dave and Len.